be scored against the person who is doing them. Now we come to a hadith that cannot fit into the meanings of the Quran. This hadith says, "Inna ummatun ummiya, la naktubu wa la nahsub, فصوموا لرؤيته وأفطروا لرؤيته." Okay, what does this hadith say? He says, we are an illiterate ummah. We don't write and we don't do calculations. We don't do arithmetic. نحن أمة أمية لا نكتب ولا نحسب. فصوموا لرؤيته وأفطروا لرؤيته. So fast, begin fasting, meaning begin the month of Ramadan by sighting the hilal. وَأَفْطِرُوا لِرُؤْيَتِهِ, and finish fasting the month of Ramadan by sighting the crescent. The problem with this type of hadith is that it is incompatible with an ayah in Surah Yunus, at the beginning of Surah Yunus. The ayah says, هو الذي جعل الشمس ضياء والقمر نورا وقدره منازل لتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب ما خلق الله ذلك إلا بالحق يفصل الآيات لقوم يعلمون. This ayah is saying, it is He, meaning Allah Jalla Sha'nuh, it is He who has rendered the sun a source of light and the moon a reflection of light. And He, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قَدَّرَهُ مَنَازِلٍ, He has calculated these phenomena to have their phases. لِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ وَالْحِسَابِ, so that you may know, so that you may calculate the number of years. And al-hisab here pertains to astronomical data. And it could mean, for those who are less developed in their thoughts, simple mathematics. لِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ وَالْحِسَابِ مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ ذَلِكَ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. Allah has not created all of this except in accordance with al-haq. يُفَصِّلُ الْآيَاتِ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْلَمُونَ. He details this illustration of His power for people in the know, for a society of knowledge. لِقَوْمٍ يَعْلَمُونَ. Okay, How is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is encouraging us here to, and Muslims, when they were supposed to be, they were the first to break new grounds in the area of astronomy, in issues that deal with the earth, geography. All of these types of sciences were acquired because there is a spirit in the Quran that sparks this mind. Unlike the purported hadith, نحن أمة أمية, we are an illiterate ummah. There is one incompatibility between the ayah and the so-called hadith. The other incompatibility is the word ummah. I've said this before, but it has to be drilled in. The word ummah is a Quranic word. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. You're made to be the best ummah, to interact with people. وَلْتَكُمْ, another ayah, وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. Out of you there shall be an ummah that leads towards al-khayr, that calls for al-khayr. وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. وأن, another ayah, وَأَنَّ هَذِهِ أُمَّتُكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدًا. And this is your ummah as one ummah. Then this is your ummah being one ummah. All of these are positive descriptions of ummah when it relates to committed Muslims, when it relates to the Prophet and the followers of the Prophet. This is the way Allah speaks about the ummah. Now, we shift our attention from Allah's description of the ummah in the Quran to this description of the ummah in the books of hadith. It says, نَحْنُ أُمَّةٌ أُمِّيَّةٌ. According to the way this hadith is worded, we are an unlearned ummah. How can this be? And then it says, لا نكتب ولا نحسب. We don't write and we don't do math. How can this be when Allah is telling us إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ? And how many do we encounter words in the Quran that have to do with thinking, and have to do with reasoning, and have to do with analyses, and have to do with all of the functions of the mind? And then we encounter something like this, for which some, between parentheses, some scholars still say that this hadith applies to us because we are an illiterate people. And because of that, they justify, and they feel strongly about it, they justify abandoning all the science and all the information there is about the sightability of the crescent. And they take another hadith and they say, they add to this, the hadith that I'm quoting, نحن أمة أمية لا نكتب ولا نحسب فصوموا لرؤيته وافطروا لرؤيته. فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ, if you're not able to see the hilal because of a number of atmospheric conditions, فَاقْدِرُوا لَهُ قَدَرَهُ. فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَاقْدِرُوا لَهُ. The word فَاقْدِرُوا, please follow closely what I have to say here. The word فَاقْدِرُوا, they explain it to mean shrink the time, shrink the month. فَاقْدِرُوا لِشَعْبَانَ قَدْرَهُ, which means they should consider Sha'ban to be 29 days. And they say that verb belongs to another verb in Surah At-Talaq, ayah number 7, وَمَنْ قُدِرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقُهُ. قُدِر, whoever's livelihood is wanting, meaning they don't have enough. Their livelihood shrank. They don't take the same verb to belong to another ayah in the Quran, ما قدر الله حق قدره. They did not assess Allah as is due to His assessment. Meaning, they did not think about Allah in His true capacity. If they took that meaning, qadar, assess, it would mean we would assess what the month of Sha'ban is. This is not enough for them to understand that there's another contradictory hadith. One hadith contradicting another hadith. The other hadith says, فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَأَكْمِلُوا عِدَّةَ شَعْبَانَ 30 يَوْمًا. If for reasons of atmospheric obstruction you are not able to sight the hilal, you complete the month of Ramadan 30 days. The month of Sha'ban 30 days. Wait a minute here. One hadith says, فَاقْدِرُوا لَهُ. We shrink it, we make it 29 days. Another hadith is saying, فَأَكْمِلُوا عِدَّةَ شَعْبَانَ 30 يَوْمًا. You complete the number of days of Sha'ban 30 days. What should this tell you and me? Now, in the middle, you see, I'm going into hadith literature. Do you detect that in going into this hadith literature, there's no emphasis on taqwa? There's no emphasis on economic justice, the purposes for Ramadan, for the fasting of Ramadan.